Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to live lunch on a Thursday. Little bit of a change of scenery for us all today. And I get to do the hellos, even though Christina is here, because she was a bit concerned about the signal and where they were, because you might notice you guys are somewhere different today. And also, don't Jane and Christina look like they're reading the news? the headline. Over to you. I love it. I love it. Tell it, where are you? Where are you and what are you doing?
We're having an away day so basically we're having a strategy day for the team. The reason I pause is because I can't say the name of the place with that. So it's Bragborough Hall. Bragborough Hall. I struggle to say it. And every time I have to say it, they will laugh at me.
You should. You say it fast 3 times in a row. See what happens.
No.
There you go. So what are you doing there today? Tell us.
So, well, like most business owners, between Christmas and New Year, I normally do like a look at essentially what we're going to do next year, what the vision is, what the goals are, what the objectives are, all that kind of stuff. And obviously the team's grown. And I just thought, rather than me sit and do it, so if you remember last year, because you were all on the call, so we were still in lockdown, weren't we? We were still working from home and stuff. And we did a call and I basically went, here's all my plans for 2021. And you all sat there and listened to it and went, uh-huh. So because you lot were so disinterested last year and not engaged, no, I'm teasing. But yeah, I just figured this year, now the team is bigger and we've had a really good year, things have grown and they just look like they're going to grow again. Rather than it just be, Christina says this is what the plan is, let's have a day out of the office, away from emails and phone calls and that kind of stuff, and actually go through what is our purpose, what's our vision, what are our values. The rest of the team, if you can hear background noise, we've just been through this, we've decided what our values are, and we've just done an exercise. We're in 2 teams. We've come up with value statements, and the rest of them are out there putting everything together so that we're left with 5 final statements. And I've just told them they've got to present them to the 3 of us. Which there was everything was fine, and then they just all went a bit white, suddenly went really, really pale. But it's been, I don't know. So I've never done anything like this. So I just couldn't sleep last night because I was just so nervous. What if it was all a bit wanky? That's what I was worried about. What if it didn't work?
Well, we'll bleep that bit out later.
It's fine. I think I've said worse, haven't I? But it's things like that can be a little bit oh God, here we go. I feel like it's going okay so far. It's bringing out what I wanted, and there's a couple of things actually where I just I feel like we've got something really good. When we went through the values, we looked personally, and then where's the crossover? Some really strong stuff came through, and it just made me feel like I worry about the culture all the time, especially because we're distributed now as a team. But there were still some really strong themes that came through, and I think it went all right. Mark hasn't walked out yet, but maybe ask his opinion.
Yeah, it's been good. Like I said to you, I'm not, as probably a lot of you guys know, certainly in the office, I'm not great on some of the personal stuff, but the business stuff, I think it's really good. And I think we've got some good sort of mission statements, vision statements, and things coming up. So yeah, good.
What about you?
Like you said, I agree with the fact we came up with so many shared values between us. Just shows that we are all singing from the same song sheet, just to put another thing in there. But so it's been really interesting and great to come together as a team and do something that's not work. Well, it is work, but not ordinary work.
Just thinking differently. It was amazing. So people watching don't realise this. Amanda has many, many, many skills. One of those skills is you're a trained coach, aren't you?
Yeah.
So really, a clever person would have said, Amanda, will you come and run this away day? But like, intelligence wasn't on the list of values. What can I say?
It wasn't actually, was it?
It wasn't. It really wasn't.
I did say to you guys, didn't I, just before we came live, that I was NFI. So if anybody knows what NFI means,
I didn't.
it's, let's say, flip. Let's substitute flipping in the middle, not flipping, invited. But I was only pulling Christina's leg because my role has changed a little bit, hasn't it? So I don't live near the office. I'm not part of the office team because I live 3 hours away, but I'm kind of very much there with you in spirit. And these kind of things, yeah, you're right, they're really up my street. But I think even if people do kind of go, oh, it's really lame, I don't want to do it, I'm not very good at the personal stuff, it's just something out of the ordinary. You get so bogged down sometimes just doing the same stuff day in, day out, whether it's for different clients, but it can feel a bit samey, and sometimes you can kind of lose direction because you're too close to the detail. So
I
yeah,
think it creates an opportunity to reflect. So
yeah,
like, Mark said, he's like, the first part of the day has been a little bit as woo as I get. Okay. So maybe a bit uncomfortable, but then there's been things said around the table where someone sort of said, actually, this has made me realise how much I've grown in the last 6 months, like how far I've come. And I think this is the thing, if we understand like what the journey has been, it's much easier to figure out where you're going next. And you've got some, like, when you've got some momentum, it's easier to make those next steps.
Yeah. So what would you advise other people? So if someone was thinking of doing this, maybe they were a bit unsure because they thought, oh, I'm not sure how it will go down in the team. Is there anything you've learned so far? I know it's only like a couple of hours into the day, but yeah, what advice would you give to someone doing this kind of thing?
I'm going to go last. You go first.
I was going to say, actually, just do it. Whatever reservations you have, give it a go. It doesn't matter if you haven't got it planned very well or anything. Just go for it, because it's always going to give you some value.
What about you?
Very different.
I'm taking constructive criticism as well. So
yeah, I think you were probably right not to tell us what we were doing.
I did. They were all like a couple of them were quite anxious this morning because I hadn't told them nothing. They were like, what is going on? I'm like, well, I hadn't quite worked it out myself. So yeah, but yeah, I think if I'd have told you, you'd have started to build, sort of say, talking to you directly now. Like if I said that these are the exercises, like Mark didn't even design the handouts, right? But if he'd have seen the handout, it'd have been like,
probably, isn't it? Like,
it's something where you already know it's outside of your comfort zone. You start to build walls up, and I'm not saying you wouldn't be open-minded and that kind of thing, but it is like if that's part of who you are, you can't, you end up taking it on. It's been really difficult to not imprint what my mission is or what my values are or what my purpose is. That's been the hardest part of the day, is because I haven't got involved in putting these statements together. It's like, because it's about the team, it's not about me and then it going down into the team. So it's like, that's been the really, really hard. You can see, I don't know where to point because the thing's backwards, right? Those, like, I wrote like what my purpose, what my vision is. I've written those this morning before everyone arrived, and I'll, like, once we've done that for the business later, then I'll show them mine, and we can see where the crossover is, and if there's anything that needs to be tweaked at that point, great. But it's like my values, I'd written those this morning before everyone arrived. So we did the exercise, those you can't see them, but those started to go up, and I actually gave mine to Jane. So as you see a crossover, add mine in as well. And there's quite a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
So that's been the toughest part, is actually keeping my mouth shut, keeping my thoughts to myself, especially when it's like, we don't know what this means. Like, how do you want us to answer this? And I'm like, all right, how do I answer this question without actually giving you an example? Because the example is going to be mine. Or giving an example for you, because then I'm telling you what to think.
It's great. I mean, it's good awareness from you, definitely. You know, I don't mean that to sound patronising, but you're the leader.
You can't help but be shocked, can you, Amanda?
No, that's not it. But just kind of for anyone else out there listening, it's your hat normally is to be the leader. You're the one that's kind of like, and it, when things are busy, you're having to go, yeah, do that, this order, this client, da, da, da. Whereas, so for you, it's kind of like the muscle that you're used to flexing, you've had to stop and you've had to flex another muscle. So you'll probably all be absolutely shattered by the end of the day because you're doing stuff that's completely different.
We're going out for dinner tonight, so it might be a short night.
We'll finish large gin, fill it up, and then you'll fall asleep with your head in a mince pie or something.
That's it.
Look out for
I have to say, sorry.
I said, look out for the photos.
Definitely, we need evidence. I do love. Paul has said JFDI. So earlier on, when I said to people know what NFI means, JFDI, and I had that in my head when you were saying, just do it. So you can substitute the F for flipping if you would like to keep it bleep free. But yeah. So
you don't want anyone to say live. Yeah. Oh dear. So what have you been up to this week? Anything exciting?
Well, did I win any awards this week? Or was that someone else?
Maybe.
Well, it wasn't me, but we have an award winner in our midst over here.
A multi
award winner in our midst. So yes, for those who are listening and don't know, very proud of Christina, who's won 2 awards this week. Tell us what were the awards, what were they for, how it all came about. Tell us the story.
So, okay, I will. Just before that, so before we went live, we were talking, and we were having a joke and the rest of it, and I was all full of what's bravado and confident. We're live now, and as soon as you said that, I got that feeling inside, like my stomach just twisted, and I'm like, oh God, are we really like that? Honestly, it's weird. It's like with you guys just then, when it was just the 4 of us, I'm like, yeah, multi-award, all this stuff. But it is, I'm so crap at taking praise and recognition and things like that. I really need to work on it. So, where should I start? I said, right, it's all really weird. It's like it's a bit. I'm just getting more and more woo. I can't quite.
Did you manifest it? Do you think then? Is that what you're going with?
Do you remember me? So what was it like? October time. Well, actually, no. It's like the last couple of years. It's come up a few times. I said, "Oh, we really should get some awards," but I've never really put anything much into it. We've looked at a couple of things. They've never really done much with it, have we? Mm-hmm. And then I was recording a podcast episode with Alison Edgar, she's a recent MBE. But do you say people are MBE winners or what? How do you?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it they are an MBE. They've been awarded it. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I turned to Jane thinking she'd know the answer.
Anything royal
Yeah, so I recorded this episode with Alison, and it was like a few days after her picking up her MBE, and she's been a judge on loads of national awards and stuff like that. And we were talking about the whole process of awards and ethical awards and that kind of thing. And in that episode, I say I really want to win some awards next year, both for myself and for the business. Now, whenever I've said this before, it's been a little bit like, oh, we really should get some awards. But the way I said it, the way I thought it was whatever, 2023, we're getting awards. I'd say that's about 2-3 weeks ago. Now, I've been to an event where I've been nominated for something and I didn't win, and that was fine because the people I were up against, one of them's an ex-apprentice winner, the other one, so the ex-apprentice winner won one of them, and then There was the other one was like one of the editors on Global Women, which is like this international magazine. It's had like Jennifer Lopez and people like that on the front cover. You know, it's like it's you know, Christina from Daventry wasn't about to like be that person. So like that was all cool. And anyway, I went to this event on Monday night, it was like the annual Christmas dinner awards for a mastermind thing that I'm part of, like an organisation called the Entrepreneurs Business Academy. And they started reading the awards out, and like these are the nominees, and all the nominees are like there's no pay to enter or anything like that, and all the nominations are made by people within the community, and then obviously the people running it, they're choosing the winner from there. So there's all these awards, and I'm like, you know, marketing campaign of the year, like this of the year, that of the year, and I'm like nominated for all this stuff and not winning, and it gets to what is almost the last award, Entrepreneur of the Year, and they say my name, which was like amazing to have that recognition from, you know, people that I like seriously respect in business, like people that are doing amazing things. And I'm like, wow, like how far do I need to get to be able to operate on that level? You know, just absolutely crazy. And the night before, I've been having a conversation about how I'm really crap at taking praise. I was at a dinner, 2 dinners in the last week, and someone told me how amazing our blog was. And both times I was like, thank you. Who are you? So it was all a bit weird. So to win that award was just amazing. And like I said, it's the fact that I'd said it a couple of weeks ago, the night before we were talking about me accepting praise. And the person that gave me the award was the person I'd been talking to about that acceptance of praise as well. So I sat down, and they did the next award, which was Members' Choice. Now, at the beginning of dinner, they told everyone there's these bits of paper and pens on the table, and you needed to, you know, write someone's name down and put it in the bowl. And over dinner, they then counted things up. So it's like they said this, they started bringing out starters, and they immediately started collecting these votes. So no one's got time to really think and and it's like, right, who, write it down. And literally, it was like Entrepreneur of the Year, Christina Robinson. I go over, handshake, photo, sit down. The next award, the nominees are, the winner is Christina Robinson, and I'm out of my seat again. And it was, to get Entrepreneur of the Year was already like, wow. But I'm sitting in a room, and I'm like, the majority of the people in this room have written my name on a bit of paper in that moment, in that like the gut moment. It was like, that was the name, which is amazing. But just like, what's wrong with people? That's what I was looking around this room, and I was like, what is like? There's that person there, and that person, and that, and I was just like, But like, it's, I have to say, I'm still a little bit, I don't know how to explain how I feel about it, but it was, I think that's more important to me than the Entrepreneur of the Year. But that's because I'm that person.
Yeah.
I am that little girl that needs a pat on the head to say, well done you, I suppose, at the end of the day.
There's nothing wrong with that, wanting a bit of recognition. Okay, 2 questions then. Did you have to do an acceptance speech, and did you cry?
I almost cried the second one. It was very. The first one, so the guy that awarded me was Jess and James, and so I went and, you know, hug, and I just said to him in his ear, I said, did we not just talk about this last night? And he was like, and he just said to me, yeah, just enjoy the moment. And that was it. I just couldn't say anything. I couldn't have talked to that room. With the second one, I couldn't say anything. I just didn't. Just, you know, when like you're, I don't know, 12, and your dad asks you a question, and you shit yourself because you don't know what the right answer is. And you go, "Ah!" It was like that moment, but it lasted for about 3 hours. Like people coming up, go, "Oh, congratulations, I'm so pleased for you, I'm so proud of you. I was rooting for you," and I'm like, "Thanks, I appreciate you." And I think I just kept saying that. I was like, I don't know what else to, like, it's a really awkward social situation. What do you say?
Yeah, you can't go, "Thanks, I'm amazing."
Yeah, I'm like, I know I'm awesome. But like I joke all the time, I say joke. I say it because I want to believe it, and I do believe it. I'm awesome. You're all legends. Together we're limitless, right? And that's fine. But if other people say that, I don't cope with it so well.
Yeah. No, I think people just it's such a lovely feeling that people are celebrating you, but they want to celebrate with you about that. So people are coming over. So you've basically facilitated something really joyous and happy.
It was
So
it was such
just
lovely
revel in that and be happy with them.
Yeah. And you know, there's this thing about like you've got to find your circle of people, and like I always forget the phrase. I need to like write it down or something. It's like you're the reflection, or you're the total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And have you heard that? Like,
yeah, I have heard that before. I'm just going through
I've
my head.
completely butchered it every possible way. But you know, I'm in this room with some incredibly successful people that are also, I'm going to remember I'm live this time, so I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say really wonderful people, humble people, people that are, you know, the people that are in a room where there's like, yes, there's competition, but everyone wants everyone to succeed. Everyone wants everyone wants to see everyone grow so that they can grow too. And it's like when you're in a really positive environment, it just, I know, it lifts you as well. So there's times where I feel like, oh, should I really be going to this thing because we've got loads going on? And like today, we're here. I'm supposed to be out at something else, like a sales training day, and I've sacked that off because I think this is more important, you know. And there's stuff like that happens all the time. I make those trade-offs. But yeah, it I don't know, just made me feel like there's a lot of stuff I'm doing right. I don't do everything right.
Absolutely.
Mark can tell you. But, you know, yeah.
In a previous life, when I worked somewhere else, there was a chap that used to take the mick out of me in a sort of tongue-in-cheek way, but I could tell he didn't really mean it. And he'd say, "You'd go to the opening of an envelope." Whereas
that's so kind, mate. You want me to talk? Just open an envelope. I'll be there. I'll talk.
Yeah. But you know, it's about personal branding. It's about, you know, you're a walking advert. So if you have zero marketing budget, you have to do your own marketing, really. So that's where you are, and that's where you're being seen. So yeah, so
you know what's funny about the marketing, right? So if a client came to us and said they've won an award, which has happened in the last month, 4 or 5 weeks, we've had a couple, right? So what advice have we given them?
Shout about it, celebrate it, put it on all your forms of social media. So okay, then just to pick that as well, there is so we are now, or you are, so by default, award-winning marketing agency with award-winning clients.
Yeah, we are.
Sounds pretty good.
And it is like if it was one of the recruiters we work with, like, right, this is how we use it, and this is how we plaster this here and that there, and right, have they given you a badge to, like, I've got 2 badges that we can use on our branding to say I've won these awards.
I was thinking about the Mariah badge for a minute.
No, it's not the Mariah badge. So yeah, I've got these two images that I can use to say like we've won these awards, and then I've got about another 4 for the stuff I was nominated for and didn't win, like finalist type badges. And it's like, if it was as a client, I'm like, right, have they sent you this? Can we use it here? We've literally done that for a client in the last couple of weeks, and yet for me, I'm like, oh.
I only updated some client badges yesterday, so that they should be on our website.
It's all content. It's all content. Just because it feels a bit uncomfy for you, you've got to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it, you know, it's it's great. I just got to get comfortable. But it's like, so I posted on my personal Facebook, and then I said to Jane, okay, like you can put it out on our stuff the next day. But then looking at the messages, and I know, look, it is on my Facebook, Chris. It is on my personal Facebook account, which is pretty private, to be honest. I don't really use my personal Facebook for business purposes. And it was on my story.
And it was there.
But that's it. I haven't. It's you put it on company LinkedIn. I haven't put it on my own, and I'm just like, oh man. I was like, I told one of our clients they needed to do a video about it. They needed to turn that into a blog about it. It'll go on an email campaign. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I always say practice what we preach, right? When I presented those slides to you January last year, one of the things on it was practice what we preach. And spoiler alert, it's on the slides this afternoon as well. So yeah, I have actually got to practice what I preach on this one, even if it makes me.
And it's good news. People want to see good news at the moment because, by crikey, and anyone who's running a social media account, so any of our mediators will attest to this. I go in there on a daily basis and look at kind of what's going on in the world, and to try and find positive news stories, it's quite tricky at the moment. So yeah, people want to celebrate in your success, definitely. I must also add, so Paul has said, can he be a legend too? You don't need to ask Paul. I think you already are. Don't need to ask. Legend status confirmed.
That's it. This is the thing. It's like the people we surround ourselves with. There you go. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. High five, exactly. Charles. Thank you. Yeah. He knows what the crap I'm going on about. Yeah, that distracts me now. I don't know what I'm saying.
People around you. Basically, you were saying about the people around you are legends as well. So it's
yeah. Like I said, it's like I keep saying I'm awesome. Like the more you say it, the more you believe it. It's like the more it like subliminally drums into your system, and there is no limit to what we can do as a business because I've got you guys around me. But that's it. Like, would I have that title? Would I have that title of Entrepreneur of the Year if I was doing this on my own? No. But it's like, but that's it, isn't it? 100%.
Chris, give me an idea on something there as well.
You can design something for a badge. We'll all get badges by the end of the day.
So a little campaign.
Well, anyway, to summarise, well done. It's really good.
Thank you.
Really good. So we're very proud of you. A bit proud of ourselves, I guess, but proud of you most.
Collective. I'm just the loud one at the front. That's all it is. I rock up and I go, you should do this. Here's Jane. Meet Mark. And they've got people to pass it all on to now as well. It's like even better.
There you go.
All good. So, because we're doing this away day thing, and like I said, today really is about the team and the business. Obviously, we didn't want to just skip live lunch because there's literally since we started, there is one that we skipped because we just diaries and all that kind of thing and Wi-Fi signals, we just couldn't make it happen. So that does need to be a one-off. We don't want to skip this completely, but we are going to bring it to a close if that's okay, because we've got a lot to get through before we go out for dinner, and like everyone's waiting for lunch and they keep coming and peering through the window. It's like hungry animals going.
Little meerkats.
The thing is, they've got all the sandwiches, so I don't know.
We've got the cake, though.
Yeah, we've got the cake.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you should see this cake.
Ooh.
Do you reckon it'll mess up the Wi-Fi if I take you on a tour?
Probably. Just with the voice of doom, but when you were on it earlier. Can you move the laptop around?
I'm going to try it. I'm going to go for it. Yeah.
See you in a minute, Jane.
Are you still there? Right, I've got no idea if you'll lose me or what. So yeah. Is it going? Is it working okay?
Yeah, yeah.
You won't be
Yeah,
able
we're
to get
good.
it. So look at all our values. Right. And like
Brilliant.
seriously, right, if you can you see the big clusters?
Yeah.
Right. So that's where we've had crossover in our values. How amazing is that to have that much crossover? Right. And then look at these cakes.
Oh. Oh, now I am jealous.
What's NFI mean again?
Not flipping invited. I'm going to have my own Christmas lunch and party on my own. I've got
Here
some
they
little
are, working away. I've got no idea if I've frozen or not. Look, give us a wave, guys.
Hi, team.
How are you enjoying today?
We're having a lovely time.
Yeah. Team building exercises.
That was almost convincing, wasn't it?
Oh,
And we've made
And
mess.
we branded it. Yeah.
Oh wow, look at this. Mark, can you see this? Like, look. I love it. Look. Can you see?
wow. Whoever did that should be on the design team. It's quite a good freehand interpretation.
Oh, hold on. What's that little dance again?
I'll do the dance.
Oh, look. Do it one more time. Dancing shoes.
So you told us to have a look at the two and then come up with something together. We've just actually made
All
both
of
of
it.
them.
Well
Still
done.
going.
Awesome.
Still going.
So, put it down a minute. Oh, do you know, my left and right on this is really hard. Really, really hard. Okay, so, quick shout out then. So, I nearly swore again. Ellie, give us a wave. That's Ellie, everyone. Dean, Mr. Business Development. Ellie, sit down. Emily. Right, so Emily does some of the social media for some of our clients. Jamie Lee is the shy one. She didn't say anything. She just giggles. Kim is the quietest of the bunch.
Hi, Mum.
She's our rowdy one. Right. And Taylor has just joined us. She's on an internship with us for the next 6 months. So who knows? We might get her on Live Lunch at some point. But yeah, that's it. That's the team. Like I said, we're in the beautiful, where are we? Bragborough Hall. And that's it. I think, should we just say goodbye? We're going to get back at it. See what they've
We
got.
have been asked, are we here next week?
Yes, and next week's the last one of the year.
Yes. And
So,
what
are we going to get any guests on?
what we're going to be wearing most importantly next week, Mark?
Well, you'll be in another Christmas jumper, won't you?
Oh yes, all throughout December.
Yeah, we can do Christmas jumpers. Should we? We could get some guests on. We could get some guests on, couldn't we? As a bit of a Merry Christmas wrap up, if people have got something to say. So, Paul, if you've got some nice Christmas news maybe to share with us, want to hang out for a bit, or Chris, we could have both Chris from Data Sense. We could have both of you on. I think you know the team quite well by now. Who else can we ask? Chris Lambert, me. Yeah, come on, Chris, let's do it. And we'll just hang out and we'll get some guests on that can just do all the talking for us. They can just take the what's it out of us for.
Volunteer Charles.
Yeah, Charles should come on. There you go. That's what we should do. So Chris has been in the office this year. Charles obviously has been in the office. Who else has seen us this year that they can we could almost do a takeover. We'll have the last one of the year is like them talking about us. But Dean's just come into the room. I thought he was diving into Live Lunch for a second then. Awesome. Right, that's it. Let's say goodbye. We will see you next week and we'll sort out some guests as well. So, yeah, we'll be in touch. Bye for now.